And hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the penultimate season edition of Trackside Live. Tyler Kuehl alongside Nate Dreyer. Yes, a different outlook, a different backdrop tonight. We got the racetrack behind us here on Trackside Live. Nate, a different look for what is going to be a different weekend, something we have not seen this late in the year at Berlin Raceway. A lot of great action. Battle of the Pros weekend. We'll get to the schedule and some of the big names. One thing worth mentioning, though, 6:45 tonight, we're going to have Steve Needles come on. He'll be driving in the Friday night race, the 75-lapper for $3,000 to win. And then at 7 o'clock, a guy that's planning to race both races, a guy that's won here, a guy that's raced multiple cars here, Treyten Lapcevich out of Canada, coming on the show to talk about this big Battle of the Pros weekend. Nate, this is going to be an exciting show for us here on Trackside Live, but also an exciting weekend of racing for the second to last weekend of the year.
It certainly is. I mean, as you said, we have not had something like this in the cool conditions in the fall, late in the season before, and I mean, even just the fact that it's two complete shows. When you look at Friday, we have complete action with four-cylinder sportsman, limited lates, and then a special invitational for non-winners in pro late models, and then 150 lapper with a 6-tire race, somewhat similar rules that you see back in the Money in the Bank. 150 will be on the table for that event with $12,000 to win on the line, plus sportsman and limited lates are in action as well. So two full shows, normal pit gate open time. We'll get through those details here in just a second, but it is two complete full shows with really, really unique, with really cool names entered races to end the night with the pro late models.
It's going to be a unique race because we're so accustomed to just having the two big races, the Money in the Bank and the Battle at Berlin. Now having this third one in here for $12,000 on Saturday night, it's going to be a lot to look forward to, a lot of excitement surrounding that race as well. That'll be the second to last night of the year. It's crazy to think, Nate, that we're sitting here now, just 3 nights of racing left, and 3 big nights of racing, all things considered. The Invitational, the Battle of the Pros, and then Chet Championship night.
And it'll be as packed. I mean, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, we'll give some details on it, but Chet Championship night, if you thought we had plenty last year, we have all of your 4 normal local series running with their double features that end the season. And then, by the way, the Reveal the Hammer Outlaws, they are in town for their season championship race as well. So that's 5 championship deciders in one night on Chet Championship night.
Marcus Wilson asking, are there monster trucks coming this year? No, not this season, maybe in the future though. But yeah, be like Marcus, folks. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, jump on in the chat. And if you have any questions for us, for Steve Needles or Treyten Lapcevich, feel free to hop on there and let us know what you think for this exciting weekend. Usually we start the show by kind of breaking down what happened last weekend, but we didn't race last weekend, Nate, so we can kind of use this opportunity here. We had about 10 minutes time before we talk with Steve Needles. Let's kind of look at the undercard, if you will. For the grand scheme of things, maybe to the national audience, it's not the biggest of looking at it from the Sportsman's Limited Late Models. But for us here that are here every week, and for the fans that come out and follow us every week at Berlin Raceway, this is a huge weekend for those two series because the same guy is leading both of those championship points. Josh Fry in the 97 in the model coverall limited late models, and in the 44 in the Baker Auto Group Sportsman Series. Those two championships, given the fact that there are going to be 2 extended features, 2 single features both nights for those cars, running both Friday and Saturday, the championship picture could completely be wiped away. One guy could run away with it. But Fry has got 2 guys on his tail right now, and he really has got to be careful and have 2 really good races this weekend to set up for possibly that double championship night next week.
Yeah, and it's a level of pressure that we don't normally see for those teams when you're chasing a championship and you have 2 double-length races, features, back-to-back nights, have to protect the car the first night, have to be able to run the second night then as well effectively, and then come back the next week on Chet Championship night. So 3 races to go, but all are double length, and that adds in such a different factor as well. It's one of the most fascinating ends I could imagine. Plus, by the way, once again, we've got different conditions than we have. It's going to be, if you like, a little bit cooler conditions than some of the real sweltering summer heat that we've had, we are going to be right down your alley this weekend, and that completely changes the math for setting up a race car.
I know, it's because the one thing we always mention, because right now the track is soaked. If you've been in West Michigan today, it has been raining most of the day, which is good for me. It saves my water bill. I don't have to worry about watering anything anytime soon. But it's going to be a green track we're going to have, and something we've seen, and I know people don't like us talking about the tires all the time and the science behind it, but for some reason with these tires, you have to get them hot to get grip. On cold weather nights with these Mercury tires, they are slick, and that just goes down from the pro late models to the Sportsman's Limited late models and so on. Those tires have to be piping hot to get that grip. And cooler air, almost like a grease pit out there.
One thing we've never seen is a pro or a super late model extended, long race, a 150, one of these sort of events where there are some tire changes going on. We've never seen one of those races run on these tires in colder conditions.
Right.
So it is going to be completely up in the air. And, we're going to talk, about the Friday versus Saturday setup. The teams that maybe have a different driver, maybe in their car Friday, doing some research for them to some extent, is going to be a big deal, I think, for Saturday to learn how the cars react.
Yeah, because, Marcus Wilson asked 150 laps for the championship. No, championship night will be a much different story. We'll get to those details on our final season finale edition of Trackside Live. But, yeah, there's a number of drivers, Steve Needles being one of them, guys that are running someone else's car for that Friday race, not necessarily for the Saturday race. I guess the kind of the cool story, we'll talk about one of the names here in a second, Billy Shotko, driving the 15, one of the development cars, and a guy that has won championships here, is a former modified champion here at Berlin Raceway. He has not run, unless I'm mistaken, it's been about 3 or 4 years. Obviously, Evan Shotko's dad, he's been helping out Evan get that program off the ground. But it's been a while. He's won a lot of races, but it's just been so long. And Jeff and Striegel and I were talking before the show. We don't think he's ever ran a template car. And now he's running a template car, 75 laps for big money, someone else's car, under very template-friendly conditions, I guess, the lack of the best way I can describe it. That's a very interesting name to see in the field.
It is. How much fun is Evan going to have reversing the role on the radio as well? Like, normally it's one way around with, Billy, talking to Evan. Evan maybe complain about the race car. Now they get to flip that around. I'm sure Evan's loving that opportunity.
I'm going to wonder, because we sometimes we'll get Evan Shotko's radio for, like, the big races, the Money in the Banks or whatever. We might have to get the radio for that on Friday night, because we need to hear that banter. Because all of a sudden it's going to be like that dinner, like when sometimes later in life you're talking to your dad, I'm like, oh man, maybe you're right, Dad, about whatever. And it's like, oh, I can't live getting, all of a sudden Billy's like, oh, you know what, Evan, maybe you are right. Maybe this car doesn't work in this part of the track or whatever. And all of a sudden it's kumbaya. They're able to talk about certain things. But who from this Friday night class do you see and that really pops out to your mind and say, wow, that's kind of an interesting name that we're going to see?
Yeah, well, I mean, of course, Steve Needles is in Tyler Reisinger's car. We're going to talk to him. He's a good story, of course. The Thormeyer group is bringing a couple cars. Max Steinhorst and Nick Neary are actually already here behind me over my shoulder. That black hauler, they actually just rolled in a few minutes ago, so they've made the long trip up from Florida.
A couple guys made some hot laps in a different vehicle. Not a race car, I can tell you that much.
A bunch, I mean, again, Lapcevich running both nights. That'll be interesting. But how about a name that really stands out? Austin Hall. They've got the 20 car. Barrett Polhemus is going to be in that race car. So kid out of Texas, is normally week in, week out the spotter for Tyler Lupton. So he's going to get to go in a race car. That's going to be a lot of fun. And I tell you what, I wonder if Tyler's going to spot for him. That'd be pretty awesome to flip that around. I imagine it'll be Carl on top of the stand still, but I would pay to see Tyler get to go on top of the stands and reverse that.
I was about to say, give Carl the night off. Let's see Tyler. And once again, I think it's one of those things where
Tyler's probably racing something else somewhere around the country. He races like 7 nights a week.
Well, that's a good point. You had to really ruin that, because it's more or less a thing of like learning. It's for me, for being in hockey, for example, people say, I'm like, if you want to understand what it's like to be a referee, go ref yourself. Getting the opportunity to kind of see the race through a different lens, getting to see it through a spotter's eyes and what they're seeing and how they're trying to translate it to you. Then you can almost kind of, because for us, for example, being on both sides of production, whether it be hosting shows or being production for shows, we know, like, that's why, or both at the same time as we're doing right now. We have Andrew Tingley and the Cinerific crew. We always I like being able to hear what they're saying, so I kind of know how to help them or how we can adjust ourselves as talent and being on both sides of the coin. I don't know if there's a way to make him a better race car driver, but I think if Lupton or something like that was able to go and spot, or Evan spotting for Billy or whatever, just kind of seeing that from their perspective of like, oh, this is what they see and how this is what I should expect to hear from them going in the future. It could maybe a good way to kind of help both of the guys develop.
Yeah, so, and I think it would certainly be. So Friday night, again, some details right here. The pit gates open to, and again, it's normal shows both nights for everyone as fans. Advance tickets, $25 package for the 2 shows are available online. Pit gate opens at 2 p.m. Practice and general admission gates will open at 4, racing at 6:30. We'll have 30-lap 4-cylinder, 40-lap sportsman, 40-lap limited late, 75-lap for the pro late model non-winner invitational, $3,000 to win. That adds up to 85 laps of racing. Thundering Heart is performing after, and all those usual specials. Happy hours both nights,
Oh, yeah.
Friday and Saturday. $2 domestic drafts. This is from 4 to 6. $2 domestic drafts, $2 chips and cheese, special Detroit-style pizza as well. So Friday night all starts at 4 o'clock. You can get in the gates. The same for Saturday. The racing is at 6:30 and adds up to, by the way, 230 laps of racing. You can probably take us through the schedule more on Saturday.
Yeah, because 4 cylinders, they only run the Friday night. So Sportsman's Limited's back out for 40 laps a pop, and then it's the 150-lap race. We'll get to the kind of the rules of that race in just a second. But, yeah, 230 laps of racing, 12,000 to win for the Pro Late Models Project 90 is the band. Honor Credit Union are bringing out the fireworks. They're going to do some explosions after the big race. But also, there's the thing about that Saturday night. It's a sports night. Lots of football going on during the day. I know college football up the wazoo. I'm one of those guys, too. I might be having my phone just kind of checking scores throughout the night. But there is a lot of giveaways on Saturday night. First 200 kids that get to the door, free glow sticks. Hopefully don't throw them on the track. You have a chance to win Whitecaps playoff tickets. West Michigan Whitecaps, one of the best teams in minor league baseball, period, regardless of level. They're a favorite to win the championship for the first time in 10 years. It's been 10 years since they've won. You can win a 75-inch TV. You can win Detroit Lions tickets if you are wearing your favorite sports team gear. So if you are wearing a Bears shirt, Nate Dreyer, you will probably get tossed out of that running, just letting you know. 125cc BMX Kids motocross bike to those who have entered throughout the year. That will be handed out on Saturday as well. Why do we have to work here? I'd like Lions tickets, a 75-inch TV. My wife won't let me buy that one or either of those things because let's be honest, Lions tickets are probably 5 75-inch TVs. That's
right.
It's a lot of money. But, yeah, 2 great nights of entertainment, giveaways, great racing. You probably couldn't ask for a better way. And we're going to have a lot of stuff on championship night, too, which we'll get to later on in next week as well. This is the best way I think we could end the 75th season of Berlin Raceway with so much going on, so much excitement. And even though it's going to be different kind of weather that we've seen over the last few months, not 95 degrees, I'm sure we're all happy about that. But no reason why fans shouldn't want to come out here.
Oh, for sure. This is, I mean, you'd be hard-pressed to find a racetrack that ends their season with as much excitement and to have back-to-back, or back-to-back-to-back if you count Friday as well, can't-miss events in September.
Yeah, I mean, because we've had it where the Battle at Berlin happens in August, and then we have some good shows, but nothing of the magnitude that we're having this weekend for the Battle of the Pros. And we're going to take a break. When we come back on the other side, one of the guys that'll be racing in the invitational race on Friday night, racing for $3 grand, we'll be talking with Steve Needles next on Trackside Live. And welcome back, folks, to Trackside Live, the second to last edition of the 2025 season here at Berlin. Ty Kuehl, Nate Dreyer, getting ready for the big Battle of the Pros weekend, second to last weekend of racing this season at Berlin. We're talking to one of the guys that's not racing both nights, but he's racing for $3 grand and 75 laps for first-time winners. Guys trying to go for that first win at Berlin Raceway. He's not a first-time winner in a template car. He's won here in other cars. 7-time winner overall, an outlaw legend here in West Michigan. It is the driver of the usual 14 car in the Revealed Hammer Outlaw Series. He'll be driving the number 4 machine on Friday night. It's Steve Needles. Steve, how you doing today?
I'm doing real good. Real good. Thanks for having me.
So let's go right into it, Steve. We were talking about this beforehand. We're excited, first of all, to see you back in a template car here. Let's just kind of go through the process. What kind of led you to jumping in Tyler Reisinga's number 4 car on Friday night? Did you call him? Did he call you? Or did you put a wanted ad out on Facebook? How'd you get involved?
No, Tyler and I had been working together a little bit over the summer. He had me come up and help him for the Money in the Bank first, and then, I guess one race before that, and then Money in the Bank, and then again for the 250. And after the 250, we just kind of kept in touch on some things that we were working on there. And it was kind of out of the blue. He sent me a text. He's like, "Hey, you want to run my car on the 5th?" And I was like, "Oh, I hadn't even really thought of that as being an option." I didn't realize it was a race for only previous non-template winners. I just kind of figured it was for late model winners altogether. So I didn't even register in my mind that might be something that'd be an opportunity. And so anyway, he sent me a text. He's like, "Hey, would you be interested in doing this?" And I went back and just checked with the family, made sure everything was good, made sure, we had the clear to do it. And all was good. So he put the deal together completely, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and kind of branching off of that as well. So it's a unique setup of a weekend where you're going to be in that car Friday night, and then he's planning on entering it and running it, of course, on Saturday to follow. So what does that mean maybe for your mindset and the way that you maybe approach that race? If you have maybe a side-by-side kind of aggressive battle for the lead or battle deeper into the field, what is the mindset on, making sure that car wins Friday night or comes as close to winning as possible, but also is clean for Saturday?
Well, I mean, his race on Saturday, trumps everything. So I think more than anything, we're just looking to pool our knowledge a little bit and see if we can't improve the car a little bit for the big race on Saturday. And, if we can go out and win the thing, that's great. That's awesome. But I think more than anything, we're just going to try to, maybe work together a little bit more and try to get this thing improved a little bit for him for Saturday. Maybe he can bring home the big check Saturday.
Yeah, we probably should mention the reason why Reisinga is not eligible to race on the Friday race because he won one of the 35 lappers we had last season. So technically he is a template late model winner here at Berlin Raceway. But Steve, we talked a lot with Carl Usher, Austin Hall's crew chief, over the last couple months. And I remember right before the Tecton 250, he said, that's a points race for them for their championship. Said we could lose the championship, so maybe we got to be careful in some spots. But Steve, I mean, you're a race car driver. If you're second or third with 20 laps to go, I mean, I would suspect that we'll be saying that your name is still going for the win, right?
Oh, we're still going to charge. We're still going to try to win the race. We're certainly not going there just to ride around. We're going there to win the race for sure. You just got to pick and choose the spots that you're going to put yourself in. So you just got to protect yourself knowing that you've got another race the next day. So if there's an opportunity there to win the race, we're sure as heck going to try to take it.
What does it take in terms of getting the race car turned around between the 2 days? Are you guys close in terms of your controls and your seat fit, or is it going to be a little bit involved to get all that turned around between the 2 days with two different drivers in the race car?
Honestly, that's a good question. I'm not really sure. Tyler's kind of handled all of that, so I don't. I haven't even sat in the car yet, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much there's going to be. I mean, it's going to be minimal. We're not changing seats. We're not doing any of that. Any adjustments that we make will be minor, whether we got to pad a seat or move a steering wheel a little bit, or, if he's got to move a little bit of lead, whatever. I think it'll all be pretty minimal as far as the creature comforts for the driver.
Yeah, because I was wondering about that when guys get into different people's cars. Because it'd be one thing if I jumped in Tyler Lepton's car. That's a bit of a change. Tyler Lepton's a younger and a slightly smaller guy than me. I'm 6'2". Matt McKenzie, my other colleague with Flow Racing, 6'4". Obviously, there's not that much of a change, but I am curious because we all know you as one of the top outlaw drivers here in the state. It's going to sound like a dumb question, Steve, but I guess explain to those that maybe don't know the intricacies of an outlaw versus a template late model. What are some of the biggest differences from being behind the wheel when you're racing, especially here at Berlin, which can be a tricky track in no matter what car you drive?
Yeah, so the biggest thing with an outlaw car versus a template car is an outlaw car relies so much more on air. Clean air is everything in an outlaw car. Whereas a template car, you can get back in some dirty air, and it's not maybe quite as disruptive, I guess. So that's really the biggest thing. I mean, obviously the speeds are significantly different between an outlaw car and a template car. I mean, the outlaw cars, I think, we're qualifying in the low 15s, maybe high 14s even, and they're qualifying low to mid 16s in a template. So between the tire and the body and all that, there's obviously a significant speed difference, but really that's all relative. Once you get out there and you're racing and you're feeling the balance of the car, you're going to drive it to its traction limits no matter what. You don't quite get the sensation of speed in a template car that you do in an outlaw car, but at the end of the day, you're still racing, you're still pushing limits. You're still getting around other cars and trying to, stay as clean as you can there. So as far as the way you drive them, they're not that much different. It seems like you can finesse. You have to finesse the template car a little bit more, whereas the outlaw car, you can really get after it and hustle it and throw it around because of the air. Template car, you got to be a little more gentle with it. But overall, it's pretty much it's very similar. Same principles apply.
Yeah, branching off of kind of talking about differences in driving style, I want to touch on you versus Tyler. Are you guys every driver's got those little intricacies differently, how they get into a corner, how much speed they like to carry, and so on and so forth. Are you guys two drivers that line up quite a bit in driving style and able to set up the race car, or is that going to be one more thing maybe in terms of building that notebook in terms of different driving styles getting in that race car?
Yeah, I think we're somewhat similar in that regard. Just from me working with him on the crew chief side, and what he wants to feel in the car, I think we're pretty similar. I might tolerate a little bit tighter car more than he will. He likes the thing to be free and on edge, and that's okay. It's fast that way, and I like it that way too. But I think I can. He's got a little less tolerance if the car's tighter, I think, than I have. So it's just one of those things where you just work around it and you try to put the best piece under you as you can, as far as the best balance of front and rear grip, and just let it rip.
I do got to ask you, Steve, this weekend we've been kind of talking about it a little bit. It's not going to be 95 degrees. It's not going to be 85 degrees. It's going to be a little bit cooler than that on both nights of racing this weekend. And I got to ask you, as a driver, do you like the cooler? You got to like the cooler temperatures a little bit, right? You don't have to worry about, passing out in the car to heat exhaustion.
Yeah, I prefer it to be a little bit cooler. It's definitely more comfortable from a driver aspect, just in the car physically. But, the track's got a little more grip in it when it's cooler. It seems like the racing is a little bit better when it's cooler, maybe because tempers are a little less on edge, I guess. People in general are just a little less on edge when it's cooler and more comfortable. So I'm happy that it's going to be a little cooler. I mean, we've had a just brutally hot summer up here, so we've dealt with plenty of hot nights. We're due for a good cool night at the races there.
Could not agree more.
Yeah, I could not agree more. For me as
well.
Yeah,
That's you're the pit reporter.
Yeah, I'm running around.
There.
Right.
Matt and I are in the AC booth up top. We're just chilling with our coats on and stuff.
And kind of off.
Brutal, man.
For sure. Kind of off of that too. So you'll be running the Outlaw then a week later here as well. Is there anything? It's different tires, different cars. We went over that, but is there a little bit of recon that you can do for yourself in terms of where the racetrack is at, knowing that this is the first time you've seen the track in the cooler conditions, even if it's in a different race car?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of it will cross over. The track in general. It's kind of hard to tell with the difference in tire between the Hoosiers on the Outlaw and the McCreary's on the template car, because there's such a different feel between those two tires. So I don't know how much will translate there, but I've got a little bit of experience from last season, from running Lee Van Dyke's car on those tires that, we'll be able to kind of judge what the difference in track is, maybe from that memory bank from last year in the hot to this year in the cool. So I mean, we'll be able to take a little bit from it. I don't know, we'll be able to take a ton, but we'll be able to take a little bit.
Yeah, that's good to see because we're excited for the reveal of the Hammer Outlaws to come on their championship night, part of our huge championship night, which is September 13th. Mr. Steve Needles will be racing in that, as well as this Friday night for $3,000, driving Tyler Reisinga's number 4 car. Should be a fun night of racing 75 laps. Steve, thank you very much for taking the time once again today here on Trackside Live, our second ever two-time guest here on Trackside Live. Steve, good luck the rest of the week, and we'll see you on Friday night.
So I can't wait. I can't wait. We really enjoy going to Berlin. You guys put on such a good show just from every aspect, and just really excited to get back there and race. It's probably top of my list of racetracks to go to and race at. So really excited for it.
Well, we really appreciate the kind words, Steve. I mean, Nate and I just have the fun job talking about the racing. A lot of people behind the scenes put on the great show. Steve Needles, ladies and gentlemen. But stay tuned, folks. We'll take a break when we come back. Treyten Lapcevich, one of the other guys that's going to be racing on Friday and Saturday here in the Battle of the Pros weekend. We'll talk to him next on Trackside Live. And welcome back, folks, to Trackside Live. We're getting ready for the Battle of the Pros weekend, where we're going to hand out $15,000 over 2 nights of racing in pro late model action. Tyler Kuehl, Nate Dreyer here, joined now by a guy that's coming out of us from Grimsby, Ontario, Canada, just north of the border. He's raced Outlaws here. He won the ARCA race here back in June. He's going to be driving the 32 car this coming weekend, trying to do both Friday and Saturday to the double. It's Treyten Lapcevich. Treyten, how you doing today, man?
Doing pretty good, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
First of all, Trey, we're so excited to see you here. We know you've raced template cars in the past here, but you're racing one of the few guys that's trying to do both nights here. Only non-winners here on Friday night, Saturday night for the big $12,000. What kind of made you interested to come to Berlin for such an exciting weekend?
I really loved Berlin, first of all. And then, I really enjoyed doing the Money in the Bank there. Back in June, I believe it was, and unfortunately with how the scheduling worked out, just wasn't able to make it there for the battle last month. So we kind of had this one circled anyways, and then just kind of eager to get back to Berlin, and was angry that I missed the battle there.
Yeah, and I mean, we mentioned, so you're eligible for this Friday night race because you haven't won in a template car here at Berlin, but you won an ARCA race back in June, and you've run so well as well in a variety of different cars. Seen you in an Outlaw, seen you in a template car as well here. So kind of branching off of that, what about this racetrack do you think you run so well at? What with your driving style, what with your ability to set up a race car, do you think meshes so well that this has proven to be probably one of your better performing racetracks?
I really like the challenge of it. It's unlike anything else we really run, and it's definitely unlike anything we have up here in Canada. So I really like how much you have to control the throttle, and it really is the definition of a driver's track. So I've enjoyed driving all 3 cars there. It's really interesting how different each of the cars are. But at the same time, the fundamentals of the track are relatively the same, and I've been able to build off of each experience and just learn more each time. Each time I go there, I seem to figure something new out, and all the laps are starting to help quite a bit.
I was going to ask, because obviously the ARCA win was really exciting for you, and on a national stage too, the national TV audience here at Berlin. It's always exciting for whenever we have the ARCA Menard Series here. But is there anything you can really take from that win into a template late model race? We know the cars, the ARCA car, an Outlaw car, template cars, they're all very different. They run different lines and everything. Is there anything you can take from that ARCA race going into this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is just getting more familiar with the track. I mean, the lines do vary a little bit, but Berlin does have a lot of character, so I think just having those laps and understanding where the grip is, how the grip changes, where the bumps are at, how that disrupts the car. I think that all helps heading into the template car too. Obviously the pace that we hold in the template car is quite a bit faster than the ARCA cars, just because how heavy they are and whatnot. So, but I think that pretty much sums up how I transfer the experience from the ARCA car to the template car. I haven't been able to run the template car since the ARCA race, so I felt like I did pick up some things in the ARCA race that I can apply this weekend.
And off of that, we'll kind of branch off, being that you do have that diverse background of those cars, of those different driving styles that go into it, between the Outlaw, the template, and an ARCA car. What's been your favorite to race in general, but especially here at Berlin?
I mean, that's a tough one. They've all been kind of unique in their own way. I've had a lot of fun driving all of them. I mean, the ARCA car is a lot of fun. Just you really got to wheel those things. As I mentioned, they're so heavy and so little grip, and the tires fall off quite a bit. So you find yourself adjusting your driving style a lot throughout the run. I mean, the super late model, the Outlaw there, was just a completely different ball game. It was crazy how much speed we were carrying. So that was a lot of fun as well. I mean, all 3 cars have really brought new challenges, and I think I just love the track itself. So it doesn't even really matter what type of car I'm driving there. I'm always having a lot of fun.
I'm curious for your thoughts, though, for this coming weekend. We talked to Steve Needles about it, about how cool it's going to be here. And we've had so many 90-degree days, or in your case, sorry, I should have said 36, 37-degree days for you Ontario boys. But I guess from a driver's perspective, what do you like more? Do you like you not mind driving when it's sweltering heat out, or do you like it when it's a little bit cooler? I mean, Grimsby's not that far north, Nate. It's not like it's Hudson Bay area. But what do you prefer to drive in, Treyten, cooler or hot?
Well, from a comfortability standpoint, it's always nice when it's a little bit cooler out. You get a little bit more airflow inside the car. But I don't know. It's all tracks change a lot from a grip standpoint when between the heat and the coolness. All the times we've been at Berlin, it's always seemed to be really hot. I don't think we've had any overcast days or nothing like that any day we've been there. So that's going to also be a little bit of a challenge for us this weekend. Just kind of trying to adjust our car to the changing track temp. I feel like it's maybe not going to be sort of plug and play off the notes that we've had from our prior trips. I think we're probably going to have to work on a little bit and just try and make the most of the practice sessions.
Yeah, and right off of that, it's what I want to ask. This race is very similar in terms of the setup to the Money in the Bank. 6-tire race, same tire compound, and 150 laps on Saturday night at least. So what impact do you think those cooler temperatures are going to have? Is it going to allow for you to maybe push a race car deeper into the night? Is there going to be a little bit less tire saving? Or is it still going to be a little up in the air what things exactly look at based on where the conditions exactly are?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit up in the air. Like I said, it's just every track kind of handles the temperature a little bit different. Some tracks we see, the cooler temperatures make the track so much faster that we almost struggle for grip just because we're going so much faster in the corners and whatnot. Whereas other tracks, they just seem to grip up all the way around, and it alters your setup in that manner, and you're able to save tires and make those tires last a little longer. So my thought is that you're probably going to be able to push a little bit harder. The tires are probably going to be building less heat and just allow them to hold on a little bit further. I don't know that the difference is going to be that profound just because we got the 2 extra tires sitting in the pits. I think you'll still see guys kind of carry a similar strategy to the Money in the Bank.
It'll be interesting to see. And you are one of the few guys that is running both nights. So what is the strategy there in terms of, keeping the car clean, but when you talk about setting up and learning where the racetrack is at, what is the strategy in terms of that balance Friday night of going out trying to win that race, but also being able to use as a little bit of a test bed for what you're going to learn in terms of how the race car can be pushed on Saturday?
Absolutely. That's our thoughts exactly too. I feel like Friday is a really good opportunity maybe to try some things and see what works and see what doesn't. And it just helps us build that notebook up going into Saturday as well. Both times we've been there, for the battle last year and then the Money in the Bank earlier this year, it's just everything's so fast paced when you really get down to these big events that you just don't have time to sit back and think. So, now that we've been able to kind of digest it all and maybe refine our package a little bit more, I think it provides us an opportunity to make our car a little bit better on Friday and, hopefully carry that into Saturday and, knock on wood, bring a clean car into Saturday's big race as well.
Well, speaking of bringing in a clean car, I got to ask this question because we've had a number of drivers from Canada, Treyten, come to Berlin Raceway. Ryan Litt, of course, in the Sprint Car Series with Chase Pinsino, who was a full-time driver last year. Take us through the logistics. As someone myself who's driven back and forth to Canada by myself, it's one thing. How about trying to bring a race car across the border? Can you kind of give us a little bit of insight on how that all works, of bringing your crew here from Grimsby, Ontario, across the 402, down the 403, all the way in, because I assume you go through Port Huron, but just coming through here and getting here on time, because I know that can be kind of a stressful situation.
Yeah, I mean, from a time perspective, it's really not that much further than a lot of the other places we race, so it's nice. It's only about 4 hours, maybe just a little bit more. We've been bringing the car so many times across the border recently. We've gotten a little bit better with it, got all the all our paperwork in line where it needs to be. So crossing the border is been quite a bit easier. Tough thing sometimes is crew. Just a lot of our guys might not be have their passports and set up to go back and forth in the border just because we have been racing a lot in Canada in the past. So, but everyone's pretty much we got everyone's stuff in line, and just we've been doing a lot more racing in Michigan, and we were in Pennsylvania last weekend too. So we've been south of the border almost as much as we've been north of the border this year, and it's made things quite a bit easier just being more prepared.
I have my own experience with Border Patrol. I don't need to go too far into it, but I got to ask Treyten, which is easier, going into the U.S. or coming back into Canada?
A lot of the times it's actually going into the U.S. I
Completely
feel
opposite
like
what I have.
yeah, I think that a lot of the times the car is a little bit easier to digest for the American agents, and it also does help that we're all American citizens too in my family, so it does make it a lot easier going back and forth.
I'm glad Treyten just called us a bunch of rednecks on this side of the border, but no, it's always. I was going to ask, Grimsby, Ontario, just south of Hamilton, so about an hour and a half or so for those that might follow the Truck Series, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. What was your local track growing up, Treyten? I was curious about that.
Yeah, I raced at Sunset Speedway in Innisfil. Just it's about an hour north of Toronto, so I grew up there racing. I ran quarter midgets first. So our home club was Waterford, Michigan, actually. So we spent a lot of time in like my younger part of my racing career south of the border. We were racing in Waterford, Lansing, pretty much everywhere around there. And then when we moved back to Canada and started running stock cars, I began at Sunset Speedway there.
Oh, that's not, yeah. I've heard of that track before because I have some friends of mine that are big race fans that love to go like the IndyCar races. Oh, that's a fun little tie-in question because you being the IndyCar guy, Nate Dreyer over here, IndyCar Radio. Treyten, how do you feel about the IndyCar race moving from Exhibition Place to Markham? As someone who's been to Markham, I'm trying to figure out how that's going to work.
Yeah, I was looking at the track map today, and it didn't look like the layout was too bad. It's kind of sad. I've ran at the Toronto Exhibition Place there a couple times with the NASCAR Canada Series, and it's a really fun circuit, and the atmosphere is great as well. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a little bit different. I'm happy though that they were able to keep IndyCar in the area. So I don't know. I think it's interesting. It's the change is nice sometimes. I guess it might allow them to hit a little bit of a different area, a different demographic.
Yeah, my main disappointment was that the first reports I was seeing is they were going to run it on the airport there in Markham. And I'm like, okay, now that's what we really need to see is we need to get that airport track. And it looks like that isn't going to be quite as much the case. So that was really my only disappointment. I think I saw that I think Honda has a big headquarters in Markham as well. So it works out logistically for them there.
Yes, yeah.
But it's gonna be a fun event anyways. I love when IndyCar comes to Toronto. I thought maybe Montreal would have been the option, but then again, F1's got their whole deal with that. So, but we don't need to get too far into that because we're talking about $15,000 on the line for one of the drivers that's running both Friday and Saturday night. Treyten Lapcevich. Treyten, thanks very much for taking the time, man. Safe travels this coming week to come out here to Berlin Raceway. We're excited to see you try to race for a couple of big wins this weekend.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. We'll see you guys Friday.
And we'll wrap things up when we come back here on Trackside Live. And welcome back, folks, to Trackside Live. Wrapping things up here, the second to last episode of the 2025 season here on Facebook Live, or, of course, if you're watching us on YouTube, the next day of the second to last of that. A couple questions that came in regarding this coming weekend. Marcus Wilson asks, is that this Saturday? This Saturday, he's talking about big sports night where you wear your favorite team sports gear to be in line to win Detroit Lions tickets. I can tell you right now, folks, $25 for both days, $20 for general admission, day of the show. I will tell you, spending that money and wearing a team jersey for Lions tickets, that's a deal. That is a steal. Marcus, though, decides he wants to throw hands and wants to get into a fight. He's asking if wear his Green Bay Packers jersey.
The only jersey worse than a Lions jersey.
Well, especially
now the whole audience hates me, too.
Well, you're a Bears fan, so
That's
as long as you don't wear it championship night right before we play you guys, that's fine. But he wants words from people. If he's going to wear his Packers jersey the day before we play the Packers on the opening night of the season, where I don't even know what to expect of the Lions because I'm that nervous because we have to. Anyways.
You got to look out for those Lions fans. They're kind of terrorists out there on the internet, too.
Well, we haven't had a reason to be excited or optimistic about a team, and now we're scared because we don't know if the team's going to be good. Anyways, yes, Marcus, that is this Saturday night where you can wear – yeah, you're welcome. You wear your favorite team's jersey, get Lions tickets, 75-inch TV, Whitecaps playoff tickets, and glow sticks for the kids at home who want to just have some fun in the stands. That's all this Saturday night. Exciting race we got coming on here. Sorry, I thought I saw Jeff Striegel in our mirror behind us in our window. He was driving his golf cart around with an American flag I assume for just fun and stuff like that. But not just great stuff this coming weekend, Nate. We talked about that, of course, with Steve Needles and Treyten Lapcevich. We also have some great stuff coming out on championship night. Not just the great points battles, not just the glitz and glamour of the awesome racing, but some good stuff for the fans as well.
Yeah, once again, it's first off, the racing, 245 laps of racing, super lates, Reveal the Hammer Outlaws, limited late sportsmen's 4-cylinders, championship races for all of them. This is September 13. The band is a double wide ride. We're giving away that Impact Power Sports golf cart that Jeff Striegel is making laps of right now behind us.
He's driving through the big puddle there down on pit road that's come from all the rain and stuff.
So he's going to have to start actually walking around now. Unfortunately, we're going to steal his golf cart from him and give that away. And then, plus, this is on championship night, we will have 10 2026 season tickets. However, we were told this by Jeff, we don't have any details on this. So you're going to have to be here to see whatever Jeff has planned to give away those 10 season tickets on championship night.
I think if you want it, you sign up for it, and we have a one-lap dash. Everyone gets to come out, and they have to run on the track, and we're going to see who are the best athletes, who are the top 10 finishers. We will be timing this, and we'll be broadcasting live on Flow Racing. It'll be the biggest race of the night by far. But those will be the last night of race. Still crazy to think that it's the last night because it seems like Battle at Berlin just breezes through the end of the year, but we have this big weekend of racing coming up, Nate. 2 nights, and then we have championship night, and then it's over.
I know.
Well, I just have to watch NASCAR and Oscar Piastri run away with Formula One the rest of the year. I guess there is football.
There is football.
Football through February, and then it'll be race season again. Look at that. It just all comes full circle. Always glitz and glamour and awesome. Thank you all very much for watching this edition of Trackside Live here on Facebook Live or on YouTube. For Nate Dreyer, I'm Todd Kuehl. We'll say see you till next Wednesday. Of course, this Friday and Saturday, the green flag drops at 6:30. We'll be live on Flow Racing both nights at 6 o'clock. Until then, we'll see you soon from Berlin.